Welcome to News Updates on Cleveland TV. I am Abib Babarinde.
I'm Fawi Charles.
First with the major headlines. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen, resigns.
Trump's right that there was a crisis.
Algerians continue protest despite Bouteflika's resignation.
3-year-old girl was killed by mom.
The details shortly. Suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen, has resigned. Mr. Onnoghen's resignation follows the recommendation of the National Judicial Council for his early retirement. The recommendation was sent to President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday. In its public statement, the NJC said it had reached a decision on allegation of fraud against Mr. Onnoghen and the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mohammed Tanko. But according to multiple sources, the decision reached by the council included a recommendation for Mr. Onnoghen's compulsory retirement. The sources also said the NJC recommended a confirmation of Mr. Tanko's appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria. Mr. Onnoghen is facing trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal over allegations of false declaration of assets. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission also accuses the former CJN of receiving illicit payments and bribes from lawyers, though it denies all the allegations.
There is a crisis to the US border with Mexico. That wasn't the case when a force promised to build a wall in 2011, claiming Mexico was sending the US its rapists and people who bring drugs and crime. It wasn't true when Trump first mused about cutting off aid to Central American countries, vows to close the borders, shut down the government over immigrations, or announced that he will build his wall without Congress consent. In the past, Trump has said soldiers deployed to the border should consider rocks held by migrants to be the equivalent of refuge. It seems unlikely that he will be able to solve a humanitarian crisis unless he stops creating more reasons for migrants to come to the US and starts treating them more like human beings.
Algerians have once again taken to the streets to demand an overhaul of the political system after their pro-democracy movement forced President Abdelaziz Bouteflika to resign earlier this week after 20 years in power. Tens of thousands of people massed in the capital, Algiers, and marched towards the Central Post Office, a symbol of the peaceful, widespread protest that began on the February 22nd in response to 82-year-old Bouteflika's bid to seek a fifth term in now cancelled elections, earlier scheduled for April 18th. The demonstrators now want the departure of key allies of Bouteflika, including the men who head Algeria's three branches of power: the Prime Minister, Chief of the Upper House of Parliament, and the President of the Constitutional Court. On Wednesday, the Constitutional Council confirmed that the post of President was vacant, paving the way for a 3-month transition period. Under Algeria's constitution, that confirmation allows the country to organize elections within the 90-day transition period. The process foresees both houses of parliament convening and Ben Salah being named an interim leader. Ben Salah, however, does not have the support of Algeria's opposition and thousands of protesters who led the anti-Bouteflika's movement.
A Pennsylvania mom's Regina Lester, 33 years old, killed her 3-year-old daughter Isabel Godfrey, pleaded guilty but mentally ill to third-degree murder in the death. She faces between 20 and 40 years in prison. Medical examiners determined Isabel Godfrey dead of multiple blunt force trauma. Her body also showed evidence of multiple bites, wounds, and trauma associated with asphyxia. Police confirmed arrest of two suspects, killers of Lut residents. The Nigerian Police Force (NPF) Lagos Command has confirmed arrest of two suspected killers of the University of Lagos (UNILAG). Dr. Stephen Ireye, who was a resident doctor at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital (LUTH) Idi-Araba. The Police Public Relations Officer (PPRO) DSP Bala Ekana, who made the disclosure in Lagos, said the suspect allegedly stabbed and kissed on his right thigh and at the back with a knife while trying to dispose him of his valuables. The incident happened around the canal area of Ishaga Road, Idi-Araba, while the victim was going somewhere with his female friend, Sibiat Opeyemi, a 200-level student of the Department of Health Education, Lagos State University, LASU. The victim was rushed to LUTH Idi-Araba, where he eventually died in the early hours.
Cleveland Open Project invites you to our project named PFAD. PFAD is the proper integration for Africans in diaspora. In this event, Africans will be able to display their African culture, African foods, African attires. And this event will be coming out on the 27th of April 2019. And entry is free. We invite all of you to this event. That's all we have for you on news updates on Cleveland TV. For more videos, please log on to our website on www.cleveland.com. I still remain Babarinde Habib.
Ham Fawe Charles.
Have a nice day.